Here's the spreadsheet we developed in the first recorded segment for question 1 of Unit 17. It shows an investor who invests $5,000 each time a stock drops in price. In this particular case we're looking at, the total investment was $20,000. $5,000 invested each of 4 special times, just when the price had dropped. And the end result is a balance of about $28,000. What's a fair point of comparison to see whether this was a good way of investing or not? One idea is, rather than looking at $5,000 invested at these special times when the price falls, we could look just at a straight investment, a lump sum investment of $20,000 all at once. So, for example, with these stock price changes, what would have happened if the investor had put $20,000 in to start and simply left it alone? The first year it would have dropped by 4%. The next year it would have risen to 16%. And we might ask, at the end of the 10 years, would the investor who put all of his or her money into the market at once have more or less than the $28,000 of the buying on the dips investor? The calculation is easy. If we enter $20,000 here, we can simply change it by these percentages. But when we do put $20,000 here, all of these numbers will change. What we'd like is to have a number up here at the top which is equal to the sum of all the amounts here, and to have that number calculated for us automatically. Here's how we'll do it. We'll start a running sum at 0. Each year we'll add on to that the amount that the buying on the dips investor invests in that year. If we add on the amount invested each year by that investor, then this number at the bottom will be the total. 5,000 invested 3 times is a total of 15. 5,000 3 times is 15. 5,000 twice is 10, and so on. Now it's an easy matter to copy that bottom number, the total invested, up to the top. And once we do, we can see how the lump sum investment will do over the course of the 10 years. Each year it simply goes up or down by the percent that prices change during that year. We'll format this the same way as the other one, with no decimal places, just to keep the comparison easy, and then drag it down. Now we have a fair comparison. Here's a buying on the dips investor who invests $10,000 at 2 special points in time. Here's a lump sum investor who invests the same amount, $10,000, all at once and simply leaves it in the market. In this particular case, the lump sum investor ends up with more than $15,000, and the buying on the dips investor ends up with only $10,000. In this case, it was better to invest the $10,000 all at once than to put it in when the price went down. But this is just one case. Let's hit F9. In this case, the results are about the same. Both investors invest $20,000, both end up with about $26,000. In this case, the buying on the dips investor doesn't invest any money, so there's really no comparison to be made. The same is true again. Here's a case where $20,000 was invested and the lump sum investor does better. Here's a case where the lump sum investor does better, but just by a small amount. Here's another case where the lump sum investor does quite a bit better. If we continue hitting F9 in this way, here's the pattern we'll find. Most of the time, the lump sum investor does better. Moreover, in the few cases in which the buying on the dips investor does better, he or she does better by only a small amount, whereas when the lump sum investor does better, he or she tends to do better by a large amount. It seems that under these circumstances, buying on the dips is a bad idea. It's better to buy all your stock at once.